Casper, the director of the Poetry Center, he said the first day I met him, he said, Juan Felipe, your life is going to change. You've got to be kidding. I've changed 1,000 times and I'm done with changing, and I am at my changed state forever now, Rob. I just couldn't imagine, how my life was going to change. I figured I've changed already quite a bit. I'm kind of done changing, even though change is always happening. But I couldn't find and feel a major, super life, mega changing feeling coming on. And it did. It sure did. I traveled across the whole United States. I met farm workers. I met undocumented mothers. I met teachers who were very upset because their students were dropping out, who had straight A's because their parents were being surrounded by ICE in their cities, in their small towns, in the Central Valley of San Joaquin in California. So they came home and dropped, in a sense, their jobs, and their sons and children and daughters had to take over at Wendy's or some kind of job so that their parents wouldn't get taken away. And a student in southern Florida who said, Juan Felipe, you don't write about us, whites. You just write about your people. This is a teenager from an alternative high school. He was, he's been through hard times, and he wasn't, Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky man. He was just raw and truthful. And I made my little, poetry dance that I've done poetry for this and it's universal and all that. But I noticed that he had a point there. He had a real point to make, a real statement, something true for him, and that made sense to me. How we all get involved in our group, which is great, and our civil rights mind, which is good, but sometimes we just don't bust out and include others. It's a very simple thing he was saying. It's good to think civil rights and to do civil rights activities, but we really sometimes don't get outside our preferences. So he was telling me the truth, and I reflected on that. So I went throughout the United States. I learned so much, and that was impacting me, moving me around, jostling me around, wobbling me around. When I finally it was all done, and I met students, and I created with Rob Casper in the school districts of Chicago, 40 of them, a whole new program for their students in creative writing. I met the students. Some were dressed as soldiers because they were in a military academy, and on. When I got home, I was toasted. I was tortilla toasted. I didn't know what to do with my emotions. They were burning around me in spirals, and I was angry at all the things that are taking place, given the undocumented women and children and families. That really, I'm a migrant family poet, man, child growing up in the fields, and I know the stories about being undocumented, and my mother's green card and my father's naturalization paper from the 30s, and the stories of all my family, and my own experience as a child, 5 years old, seeing my friends being pulled out of their house, that my father helped, cut the lawn and plant corn. I plant corn with my father in their little piece of land in Escondido, and then one day I saw the green van come and just pull them out and take them away. And the songs my mother taught me about the revolution of Mexico. So I felt all this, and I'm a feeling kind of guy. I empathize with everyone as much as I can, all colors, all languages, all peoples, as best as I can. I'm probably at 20%, even though I think I'm at 1,000. So I came home with a lot of feelings and anger, and I didn't know what to do. Slowly but surely, slowly and very slowly, I said, you know what? Reality is made out of pain and suffering, incredible suffering, and it's made out of incredible joy. And my task was to put those two orbs of reality together, not just choose one. candy colored, everything's going to happen and it's going to change and right now, and I can do it, and we all will make it happen immediately, and we'll take care of all this bloody massacre, shooting, gun life, migrant torture, suffering. We'll just take care of it immediately. Both are real. So accepting those two things is part of my life-changing experience, and meeting so many people and having so much support from many places and institutions to this very moment. And it happens to all of us. We're constantly changing, getting support, and we're all jostled by the pain that we see and the suffering we see, and we all have amazing hopes and ideas and projects for change. One is not going to solve the other, and one is not going to go away. So we have to bring them close together and find a way and continue our positive work. That's kind of simple when I boil it down, but that's my life change right there, and more kindness, more patience, and more reality, and more positive action.